Welcome everyone, True Smog, and today I'm bringing you the next guide in the DPS lineup, and that is going to be the Affliction Warlock. Affliction Warlocks are typically known for maintaining dots on a lot of characters, but they are a lot of fun to play, and they definitely do have the high mobility due to a lot of instant casts. As a reminder, guys, I do stream on Twitch on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and links are down in the description below. And if you do enjoy this video and it does help you out, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn those notifications on so you know when the next video does go live. I will continue to do these guides as well as update them as more information comes out. If it is a minor update, I will make sure to try to pin something down in the comments below, so make sure you're checking back for that. And as always, guys, just a reminder, this is my opinion. This is not the end-all be-all. This is kind of a launching point for you guys to get started off in this class. Depending on the situations and your play styles. All right, with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. That all you need to know to play a Affliction Warlock in Shadowlands. Here we go. Some of the strengths of the Affliction Warlock is they do have very good mobility and survivability, as well as good burst, single target, and cleave ability. As far as weaknesses go, they do have a pretty slow ramp up for burst DPS, and overall their AoE is pretty weak compared to most. All right, so as far as stats go, number one is going to be intellect. That is going to increase your spell power and your damage. Number two is haste and mastery. These are very, very close, and depending on which one is better for you, I would recommend that, as always, that you guys sim yourself using raid bots or simulation craft. This is going to kind of tell you which one that you're going to want to go with, but these two are very, very close, and either one can be taken in whichever priority order for your equipment. After that, it's going to be between crit and versatility. All right, going into enchants, as always, I like on the chest the eternal stats, increasing 30 stats. Just very beneficial in my opinion. Your bracers, of course, are going to be eternal intellect. Your rings, depending on whether haste or mastery is better for you, is going to be the tenet of haste or mastery. Your weapons should be celestial guidance. Gems, again, depending on which one you're more needing, will be the quick jewel cluster or the masterful jewel cluster. And finally, with your food, same thing, depending on which one you're going with, either haste or mastery, you're going to use the iridescent ravioli with applesauce or the Tenebris crown royal aspect. All right, so getting into your talent builds, as always, we will start off going through and talking about single target damage and talent builds first. Then in the next part, I will go through on the AoE and mythic damage part. And then at the end of it, I'll actually put the talent trees side by side so that you guys can see them. As always, the one on the left is going to be single target. The one on the right will be the AoE and mythic version. Okay, so level 15, your choices are Nightfall, Inevitable Demise, and Drain Soul. So for single target and basically AoE as well, I'll just go ahead and say this right now. I do feel that Drain Soul is the best one. It does replace your Shadow Bolt. Basically, it does double damage to any target below 20%. Just a very, very good filler. All right, so level 25, you have Writhe and Agony, Absolute Corruption, and Siphon Life. Absolute Corruption is a really cool feature just because it makes corruption permanent. However, I really do think that Siphon Life is the way to go, giving you basically a dot, and then it also is healing you of 30% of the damage that you do. So in this case, for single target, I'm going to go with Siphon Life. Level 30 is one of those your choice. You have either Demon Skin to basically increase your armor, Burning Rush, which is basically a speed boost, which takes 4% of your health per tick. And then Dark Pact can also be good in situations where you have to soak a major mechanic, giving you a nice burst of health. Typically, I prefer Burning Rush just because mobility is key, and I like being able to move through dungeons quicker, or if I need to get out of something quickly, Burning Rush is always that one for me. All right, level 35, you have a couple of talents here. Sow the Seeds, Phantom Singularity, and Vile Taint. Love that name, by the way. Both of these, Sow the Seeds and Vile Taint, to me, if you read the descriptions on them, they really come off as AoE. And so that is why I really think that Phantom Singularity, even though it also has AoE characteristics on it, placing a Phantom Singularity above the target would consumes the life of all enemies within 15 yards, dealing the damage over 13 seconds, and that heals you as well for 25% of the damage. I just think this is a very, very good talent to have for single target. And so in this range, I'm going to recommend Phantom Singularity. Okay, so level 40, this is another one of those based off of your choices that you get to make based off of your playstyle, whichever one fits for you the best. Dark Fury basically reduces the cooldown on Shadow Fury, giving you reducing it from a minute stun to 45 seconds. Mortal Coil will actually cause a target to fear as well as heal you. This can be good for a nice little burst heal as well as CC control. And then Howl of Terror can basically make a whole bunch of things flee. If you have a whole bunch of mobs on you, you can make a bunch of them flee off of you. For me, I like the CC aspect as well as the burst little heal, so I'm going to go with Mortal Coil. But again, this is based off your playstyle. Whichever one you like, that is the one to go with. Level 45, you have Dark Caller, which basically will reduce your summon's Dark Glare by a minute. That is your primary cooldown that you will normally use. Grimoire of Sacrifice is you basically get to sacrifice your demon pet for power every 30 seconds, and it causes your spells to sometimes deal additional damage. Haunt is the one that I am going to go with. A Ghostly Soul haunts the target, dealing shadow damage and increasing your damage done to the target by 10% for 18 seconds. If the target dies, Haunt's cooldown is reset. This, to me, with the ability to have that reset as well as giving you that buff, really is the choice for me. And so Haunt is what I'm going to recommend at level 45. Okay, so level 50, you have Soul Conduit, which is every soul shard you spend has a 15% chance to be refunded. You have Creeping Death, which is your dots, Agony, Corruption, Siphon Life, and Unstable Affliction deal their full damage 15% faster. However, it doesn't really ramp up enough for me. I really do, even though it is a cooldown, and typically I'm not a big fan of taking cooldowns. I normally like to take passive things. I just think that Dark Soul Misery, infusing your soul with a misery of fallen foes, increasing your haste by 30% for 20 seconds. Again, haste is your basically between haste and mastery. They're very close. That is your best secondary stat. I just think this is very beneficial, especially if you line it up with Summon Dark Glare. Okay, so that was it for single talent. Let's go ahead and go through your AoE and Mythic build. Again, at level 15, I'm going to go ahead and recommend Drain Soul. It is a very good filler, especially with that double damage increase for mobs below 20% health. I just think this is the best one on this talent tree. All right, level 25 for AoE. As we talked about before, you have Writhen Agony. Basically, it makes Agony's damage starts at 4 stacks and ramps up to 18 stacks. You got the Siphon Life, which is more of a single target. For this one, I do like Absolute Corruption, and that is what I'm going to recommend for AoE. Your Corruption is now permanent and deals 15% increased damage. To me, that is just very big, especially making it permanent when you're dotting them out. Once you dot them, you don't have to worry about it anymore with multiple targets. I just think that that is the way to go, especially when using Seed of Corruption or something to really apply those to all of them. I just think this is very beneficial. So Absolute Corruption, my choice, level 25. All right, again, at level 30, it is your choice. As we talked about before, Burning Rush I like for the high mobility. However, if you are doing high mythic keys and you need to soak some big damage, Dark Pact I think is very, very valuable as far as that big spot on heal to help you soak that damage. So I would recommend doing that. You're almost going to need Dark Pact if you're going to be doing high-end mythic keys. Otherwise, use Burning Rush for your mobility. All right, level 35, as we talked about in the single talent tree, Sow the Seeds and Vile Taint seem to be very AoE centric, and I do believe that is the case. You can really take either one of them here. Sow the Seeds, basically your Seed of Corruption will apply to 2 additional targets. And then Vile Taint unleashes a vile explosion to the target location. It's basically a little circle that you'll put on the ground, dealing 708 shadow damage over 10 seconds to all enemies within 10 yards and reducing their movement by 30%. Either one of these I think are very, very good, but for me, I'm going to go with Vile Taint. All right, level 40, again, is one of those that is your choice. One thing I do like to have in Mythics, especially, is needing to have more stuns, just because of interrupts can be so important. So for me, Mortal Coil is really good, but I would probably go with Dark Fury in this one. But again, it is your choice. Any of these is going to work. Okay, level 45, you have basically 2 choices in my opinion, and it's between Dark Caller and Haunt. I think Haunt is very good just because when you apply Haunt, it gives you that 10% increased damage for 18 seconds. And if it dies, you can immediately apply it to something else. I think this is very, very viable in AoE and Mythic as well as single target. Also, Dark Caller, you cannot underestimate that getting that extra Dark Glare a minute earlier can also be very good if you're lining up for big AoE packs. Either one of those are good, but I am going to stick with Haunt just because I think it has more application here. And then level 50 again, I believe that Dark Soul Misery, just because of that big haste, and then you can line it up with your Dark Glare. I just think it's the better one of the level 50s. And so I'm going to go ahead and recommend that Dark Soul Misery be the level 50 talent that you take for AoE as well. All right, everyone. So there is your single target and multi-target builds. On the left side, as a reminder, is your single target. The right side is your AoE and Mythic Plus talent build. Those are the recommendations. Again, these are not the end all be all. And depending on the situations or depending on what type of level key or anything that you are running, or type of raid fight will depend on which talents are a little bit better. So make sure that you're tweaking those as you go. Make sure you understand those talents and where they're applicable, depending on the situation that you're in. As always, guys, make sure that you leave a comment down below. Let me know of any other talent builds or any other methods that you guys have tried that seem to work a little bit better. As always, we're here to try to help inform you guys as much as possible. All right, so as far as your rotation goes, we're going to start off with your single target rotation and then your multi-target rotation. Again, this is just kind of my opinion. Depending on the situation that you are in or how many mobs you have, you may need to adjust these accordingly here and there, but this is a very good starting point, I do believe. All right, so your single target rotation, go ahead and cast Haunt. Then go ahead and make sure that you cast all three of your dots, being Agony, Corruption, and Unstable Affliction. Go ahead and fire off Siphon Life. Do Phantom Singularity on cooldown. Always cast Malefic Rapture anytime you have 5 shards. Cast your Dark Soul Misery CD on CD, especially if you're about to summon Dark Glare. And then use Drain Soul as a filler. Obviously, the most important thing is you want to be able to cast off that Malefic Rapture as many times during a fight as you possibly can. So make sure you pay attention to those shards and fire that thing off. It does a lot of damage. All right, so for your multi-target rotation, it's not much different. As always, make sure that you're maintaining your dots of Agony and Corruption, using Seed of Corruption to go ahead and fire off that. Apply your Unstable Affliction to your main target. Again, Malefic Rapture anytime you have 5 shards, trying to use this as many times during the fight as you can. Vile Taint if you've taken that one. And then again, Dark Soul Misery before you summon your Dark Glare. And then Drain Soul as your filler. All right, so as far as legendaries go, there's really 2 that are kind of coming out ahead right now. For single target, it's the Relic of Demonic Synergy. And basically, damage done by you or your demon will grant one or the other a 10% increase in damage for 15 seconds. And then for AoE, especially for Mythic Plus keys on the high end, Perpetual Agony of Azhakar. What this does is Agony will have a 20% chance to generate a soul shard. All right, so as far as your Covenants and Soulbind go, there's 2 that really stick out well for the Affliction Warlock, and they're very, very close. Whichever one you choose, I do believe you're going to benefit from. I don't think one or the other has a major advantage over the other. I'm going to start it off with Kyrian and Pelagos. I do think that one is probably the overall best one, but right neck and neck with it is going to be Night Fae and Nia. The Kyrian basically gives you a very strong dot. The Night Fae one is going to give you equal DPS almost, as well as with a little bit of a movement buff with the Shapeshifter. All right, so as far as Torghast goes, I do like Drain Soul at the level 15 mark. Inevitable Demise, if you're needing more healing, can be good, but I do recommend Drain Soul. Level 25, again, because there are multiple packs, Absolute Corruption, I feel is more beneficial. Again, level 30 is your choice. If you need the big self-heal, go with Dark Pact. Otherwise, you can go with Burning Rush for movement. If you're going through this solo, obviously you want to go with Phantom Singularity. It is very good. You can also do it with the group. If you are doing pretty big AoE pulls, though, so of the Seeds could be very good here. Level 40, I do like Mortal Coil just because it gives you that ability to CC as well as heal yourself, and that can be very beneficial in Torghast. Level 45, I just think that Haunt is the best one. Then level 50, Dark Soul Misery is still very good if you want to have that burst of haste that you can burn down enemies. Otherwise, Soul Conduit does do very well here just because of the high frequency pulls. Getting those extra soul shards can be very beneficial. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for the Affliction Warlock. Make sure that you do leave a comment down below on which class you would like to see me do next, as well as any other rotation or talent builds that you guys have done that may be beneficial to help everybody else here. As always, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn those notifications on so you know when the next video does go live. And as always, guys, remember that life is a circus. Enjoy the freak show, and I will see you guys next time.